It can be so difficult most of the time to watch every anime out there, and you would usually fall back to the shows that are the most popular, wasting the potential enjoyment you could experience by ignoring anime that do not have as much eyes on it but are still as great, if not better. Heck, there are even times that people actually don't like the most popular thing out there. Not because they just want to hate on what everybody's watching right now, it's simply because it really doesn't appeal to them. So if you're looking for something worth watching this fall, here are 5 shows that you should definitely not overlook. Of course, we're starting off with an isekai, but this one I can completely get behind. Being a big fan of slice of life anime, I'm glad this is one of those that I can just sit back, relax, watch, and feel all my accumulated stress seep out from my body. I'm going to have to admit though, I really thought this would be one of those emoto anime because of this opening. Thankfully, it isn't at all. Taking the reincarnation approach, our book-obsessed main protagonist Urano, after dying by what I can only assume being crushed by books, a fitting end for a bookworm I guess, takes over the body of a young blue-haired girl, which I have a certain problem with. I'm not entirely clear with this yet, but did the young girl die before her body got hijacked? If that's the case, I hope it was because she was in fact very sick, and she took over her body after the fact that she passed away. Or better yet, the real mind soul is still in her body. Because if she was actually killed off just so Urano's soul could have a new host, then that's just... But moving along, Urano now taking a new identity as the blue-haired mind, now containing this new body in a world where her favorite thing, books, seemed to be absent. Given the chance to confirm this herself, she accepted her mother's invitation of going outside. Good news for her, books do exist in the world she lives in now. But just as quickly as she became happy of her discovery, it shifted much quicker into despair, and she learned that it wasn't as easy to get a hold of. In this world, you would have to be very wealthy to acquire such luxury. Not fazed at all, her mission to acquire one starts here. I think people familiar with such a genre would really like this one, because speaking from a personal experience, as long as it can be a relaxing and fun watch, something that soothes the soul, then this is just perfect. But if you haven't tried one yet, you should really give this a shot. You might actually open yourself up to a new experience you never thought your action, battle, typically shonen-driven self needed before, because I sure as hell went through that. Now this one. I'm actually not quite sure if it's for everybody. Cautious Hero is one of those isekai comedies. Isekam? Kamise? Komikai? Whatever. An isekai with comedic elements in it. And personally, I like most of what I saw, though to be honest, its comedic delivery can be quite hit or miss. Just like any isekai, it starts off transporting one of our protagonists, Seiya, into another world. But of course, with the flood of isekais lately, and I mean in the last decade, some of them needs to do something different. And this one was no exception. Instead of transporting your typical overpowered, carefree student-turned-hero that can just do anything he or she feels like and just gets away with it because of how the protagonist just straight up shot to the max level, this show gave us someone who's become overpowered because of how overly cautious he is. So cautious it's reached the point of being hilarious. Well, most of the time. And this is what this show is banking on as its main draw. Carefully analyzing any situation at hand, he prepares himself for it, and wouldn't be convinced otherwise that his preparation was already enough. You see, that was funny, but yeah, you really should have stopped there. That's what I was referring to when I said this anime can be quite hit or miss. It doesn't seem to realize when it's overused a joke. Also, not funny at all. This show can actually deliver some real good entertainment, but if consistency is something you're very finicky about, then this one might not sit quite well with you. But if you can get past over its few blunders, then I think you might actually enjoy this one, because I surely did. Finally, a break from all the isekai and a sports anime this time, introducing us to a beat-up Sora who would let go of anything except for the one thing he holds very dear. It already gives us an idea on just how much love and passion he dedicates to the game he plays, not only because of the sport itself, but what it means to him on a more personal level. Treating the basketball court as a haven where he could feel that his disadvantages did not matter, he could stand shoulder to shoulder with other people who would treat him otherwise.
コートの上だけが大きい人たちと肩を並べられる場所なんだ。
Unfortunately, he landed on a basketball club that weren't as eager in playing the game as he is. Not letting this stop him, he challenges the current members and reinvigorates the captain's fading passion for the game. A new chapter begins for the club as this newcomer sparks the captain's flame anew. My anticipation almost reaching its peak as it hints us on some truly inspiring interaction between the characters and how they would assemble to reach new heights in the sport they love so much.
一緒にバスケやりましょう!
So far, this show gives us the basic premise of any sports anime. Different characters with rich personalities getting together to try to win the whole thing. And more than the spectacle of them playing, for me it really boils down to the members, and just what they have to offer aside from their skills. And thankfully, the impression each of them gave me did not disappoint. Aside from Sora treating basketball more than just a game, some of the characters also have some very interesting relationship with the sport. The brothers who seem to have had a bitter past with basketball rediscovers their passion for it with Sora leading them.
もうやめたんだよ。どうせ俺才能ねえし。
どうするの？
あ？
あの子待ってるのよ。あなたのこと。
And I'm really liking Momoharu already, because he isn't your typical gifted basketball player. He's the type to try to bring about his full potential by working harder than anybody would, which I'm still not quite sure if Sora is also on the same boat. Whether he also worked hard to attain the skills he currently have, or he just might be naturally talented. Or he could actually be both.
一体何本打ってんだよ。
1021本。
Personally, I do hope he's just like Momoharu. And not only him, but the rest of the members, including Momoharu's brother, Chiaki. I just think it's a much more interesting approach, having all the members being just normal players who carries with them a more than normal passion for the game. One thing holding it back though, but really it's more of a personal complaint, is the unavoidable aspect of explaining the game.
最初にあれだけのドライブを見せられたら、ディフェンスが。
Alright, zip it. Zip.
I know it's a necessity because like other sports anime, it tries to introduce the game to those who are not familiar with it and educate them along the way. And honestly, it's quite effective because I surely learned a lot and even had a brief interest in other sports which I never had a chance of playing or would have even imagined trying out before. But I think for those who are already familiar with basketball like myself, it can become a little repetitive to have the sport explained to us again. But like what I said, that's more of a personal gripe, and if you really don't mind that, then this show could be one of those very inspiring anime.
あの子信じてる。
If you're the type of viewer who just wants to burst out laughing, then this is definitely an anime you should consider, setting up a trap for its viewers by making it seem like your typical anime set in a high school. Amatsuyu, the main protagonist, wants to live out his high school life to the fullest by enjoying it with friends, experiencing things that he could only experience in high school, and of course getting a girlfriend. You know, the works. And to be honest, I actually fell for it, and initially made me skeptical about how this anime would turn out. And just when I was about to give up on this show, things just started escalating, and it was in this moment that I was sure this is a must-watch for me. And I haven't even gotten to the bench scene yet.
なぜベンチがここに？
お急ぎ便ですぐだったわ。
そこはどうでもいいかな。
Revealing Amatsuyu's true personality, madness ensues and starts off the true nature of this show. With two of the girls he was gunning for actually being in love with his best friend, he planned to help both of them. I guess playing the supportive friend card instead, certain that he would have a shot at the girl his best friend would not choose, not minding how pathetic of a plan it is.
そうだよ。俺は精一杯奴らを支えて振られた方とハッピーエンドを目指せばいいんだね。
I mean, you've got a very beautiful girl who's totally into you already. Sure, she's a little crazy, but everybody's gotta go through that, you know? Oh, you think you won't? Oh, you will. You definitely will. Though most of the earlier characters seem to be a run-off-the-mill type of characters, which they definitely are, I think it's just to balance out just how crazy Amatsuyu and his stalker already is. So if you're into rom-coms, this show's definitely worth every second spent. But if you actually haven't experienced this type of anime yet, then this is surely a great start. Finally, another isekai comedy, which also played the misdirection card quite well, opening with a scene where our main protagonist Genzo, or more known as Kemono Mask, hinted on what he would choose as his next career path after his last professional wrestling bout. With how funny he already was in the beginning of the show, I was actually anticipating and really thought it would have been a great idea to see what his life would be like being a pet store owner.
ペットショップを作ろうと思う。
いいですね。何ですかそれ。
そこからか。
Just imagining how he would manage said store and his customers was quite interesting. But then, he gets transported. And I was honestly quite skeptical with how this would turn out. Not another isekai, I said to myself, but it actually turned out better than how I imagined the pet store thing would be.
勇者紹介失敗か。なぜ裸？変態だから。
Because now he'd get the chance to express his creepy, perverted love for animals in this new world he finds himself in. And not just any typical sort of animals, but the type only seen in fantasies. Each joke it's delivered so far surely hit a home run. And I even thought they'd overplay the pervert jokes, but so far they haven't yet.
そこまでだ。関係ねえやつは突っ込んでる。何者か知らねえが余計な真似は身を滅ぼすって本当に何者
This anime had been looking forward to the possible hilarity that would break off at any given moment. And the possibilities to its approach on every joke would be nearly endless because of how many the currently existing fantasy creatures are. And this show could even make one up that only exists in this world. Genzo surely isn't lacking any interesting characteristic, and the other characters surrounding him surely are not lagging behind. If you thought you've had enough comedy on your list of anime this season, then you better think again, because this will definitely give the shows on your list a run for its money. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what shows you've actually set your eyes on this season. Are any of those anything I recommended? Or is it outside of my list? Just comment down below. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button down there. And if you didn't, you're always free to hit that dislike. And don't forget to subscribe to get more of the good stuff from me. Till next time.